Hi friends, Tony here, and today we're working on the Party Punch shawl. I'm not doing a full-on tutorial for this one, but I did want to walk you through rows 1 through 10 because they can be a little bit tricky. Now this pattern was originally made with Hawthorne fingering weight yarn from We Crochet. It's absolutely beautiful, but a little bit too thin to show on camera, so I'm actually going to be working with a worsted weight yarn. I'm also working with a 6.5mm hook, but you'll want to use a hook that's recommended in the pattern. This is just for the demonstration. We'll begin row 1 by making a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, flip our chain over, pull up loops, starting in the second chain from the hook, and in each of the last 2 chains. So by the end of it, we should have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 1 to begin the return pass, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I like to tighten down this first loop so we have nice clean edges along this right side. Now for row 2, we're going to add 1 stitch. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to Tunisian knit stitch the next stitch. So we've got the front and back leg. We're going to insert between that stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Follow that with a full stitch. So in the space between the stitch we just completed and the next stitch, we're going to insert our hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. So that creates an increase. And then we're going to knit the next stitch. And then we're going to work the last stitch, making sure we go under both loops, yarn over, pull up the loop. So you can see we had 4 and now we have 5. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over through 2, 2, 2, and 2. Now for row 3, we're going to start off with knitting the first stitch. Follow that with a full stitch in the space between the stitch we just completed and the next stitch. We're going to follow that with simpling the following stitch, which is right here. So just insert under the front loop, the front bar of that stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. Follow that with knitting the next stitch. And then we're going to work the last stitch under both loops. Let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've gone from 5 to 6 stitches. Return pass is yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, being sure to tighten up that first loop. Now you can move on to row 4, knit the next stitch, full stitch, simple the next stitch, knit each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. We'll work the last stitch. Quick count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way back until you have 1 loop left. Great. Let's move on to row 5. Knit 2, there's 1 and 2, 1 full stitch, 1 simple stitch, knit 2, 1 and 2, and then the last stitch. Counting, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how many you have after row 5. And then the return pass. For row 6, we're going to start off with knitting 2. So here's the first and the second. Then we've got a full stitch, simple, followed by another full stitch, and then another simple, knit 2, 1 and 2, and then the last stitch. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 after row 6. and then the return pass. Now to row 7. We're going to knit 2. There's 1 and 2. We're going to full stitch. There's 1 and simple. And we're going to do that twice. So here's the second time. Full stitch and simple. Now we're going to Tunisian simple stitch 2 together over these 2 stitches. We're going to insert under the front bar of both of them, yarn over, pull up a loop, and that creates a decrease. And now we'll knit each of the last 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, and then work the last stitch. So at the end of this row, we should have 11 stitches. Fingers crossed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Whew, we did it. Okay. Chain 1 and work your return pass. Now for row 8, knit 2, yarn over, and then we're going to do a full stitch right in the space after the knit stitch that we completed. So we've got 2 increases back to back. A yarn over is an increase and a full stitch increase. We're going to follow that with simple the next stitch, yarn over, skip the following stitch, simple the next stitch, and then we've got Tunisian crochet 2 together over these next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, knit 2, here's 1 and 2, and then work the last stitch. At the end of this row, we should have 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then the return pass. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 until there's just 1 loop left on the hook. Be careful when you get to that yarn over because it wants to stick to other stitches, but yarn over and pull through 2. And now we'll get into the rows that will be your repeat. So rows 9 and 10, you'll repeat for the body of the shawl. So here's row 9. Knit 2, there's 1 and 2, yarn over, full stitch, and then we're going to yarn over, skip 1, simple the next. So that was a yarn over, skip 1, simple the next. And we're going to repeat that to the last 5 stitches. So what I like to do at this point is just count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to do this until we get to these last 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got 2 stitches left here. So yarn over, skip 1, simple the next. And now I'm at my last 5 stitches. At my last 5 stitches, I'm going to do my TSS 2 tog here, so my decrease. I'm going to follow that with knitting 2, 1, 2, and then working the last stitch. So at the end of this row, I should have 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now time for the return pass. And we can do row 10. So with row 10, we're going to knit 2, 1, and 2. We're going to yarn over, full stitch, and we're going to simple the next stitch. We're going to follow that with a yarn over, skip 1, simple the next, and repeat that to the last 5 stitches. Yarn over, skip 1, simple the next. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches left. So we're gonna do our decrease, TSS 2 tog right here, knit 2, there we go, and work the last stitch. At this point, we should have 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 stitches. And then we do our return pass. So we'll just repeat rows 9 and 10 for the body of the shawl until you've got 10 grams of yarn left, no matter what size your skein was. Then you can do the last few rows of knit stitches, bind off, and block it, and you'll be done with your project. Thanks again so much for checking out this pattern. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and check out toycblog.com for even more projects.